Well, hello there, Block One. Here's the next stage. I'm going to put this text on the front of the TV. I'm going to put the word color here, and we're going to put RCA Victor. RCA Victor was the corporation that made this. And here they had to tout the fact that these were color TVs because this stuff was new back in that day. So, in order to make uh, this text, I'm going to have to use what's called Text Plus. So I'll come over here to Text Plus. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it out so that I can see, my Text Plus right there. All right. And now that I can see Text Plus right there, I'm going to switch over to the Modify tab and I'm going to change this to color. This is what I'm going to turn into color. And here where it says Text Plus, I'm going to put a capital C, a space, a capital O, a space, a capital L, a space, capital O, a space, and a capital R. And then I'm going to be like, I can't see. Let's see here. COLOR. Let's try this again. Well, I'm going to make this. Let me go ahead and put in here first C space O space L space O space R. I got a space in between each of those letters, okay? And let me click and drag until I can see. There we go. I can see color. All right. Now that I can see color, I'll let go of my mouse. And I've got the word color here on the screen. All right, cool. I'm going to switch to the Modify tab. I'm going to name this object color. And then here's the cool thing about making a text object into a 3D object, because at the moment, let me turn on angle snaps. Got angle snap turned on. I'm going to grab the rotate tool and I'm going to rotate this up 90 degrees. There we go, 90 degrees. And now as I'm looking from the front here, I can see this word color. But if I look at it from the side, it's very thin. In fact, it has no thickness. It's just a series of polygons. So before and even Arial will work fine for this. That color looks close enough to what I see right here, COLOR. Okay, I'm happy with that. The letters have a close enough shape for me to be glad. I'm going to right click the text plus here and I'm going to turn it into a editable poly. And it's going to be gone. Now it's an editable poly, which I can get my hands on the polygons. And I'm going to do these one at a time because I want to watch this. Something weird happened the first time I did this, and we may have to handle something. It all depends. I'm not sure why this problem occurs. So I selected the polygon on the front face of that C. I probably ought to turn off that rotate tool. And I'm going to click on the extrude menu. And what a gigantic extrusion. I think I'll just set that to like 0.5, which is secretly going to be more than enough for what I want to accomplish. And I'm going to click the little check mark. Now going forward, uh, Max is going to remember what I'm trying to do here and what I did. So I'm going to select the O now, and I'm going to hit that extrude menu, and it gets an extrusion. I hit the green check mark. I'll select the polygon, which is the L, hit the extrude menu, hit the green check, hit the next O, hit the extrude menu, hit the green check, and then select the R, hit the extrude menu, and hit the green check. Now, this just did the extrusions, and it looks to me like it did them all in a row. So I'm not sure what I did wrong the first time I tried this. One of the letters was off a little bit. I had to change its position to line them all up. If I looked at it from the left viewport, I should just see a straight line here. If one of those letters was not lined up right, it would be, ooh, that's the whole thing. Let me switch down to elements. Let me just pick this first element. If one of those letters was off, it would be moved out of place. And what happened first time I did this, one of them was out of place. So I went down to the element level and I put it where it needed to be. But they look like they got lined up perfectly, just the way I wanted them to be. Now, they are a little on the huge side. If I go to the top viewport here, and if I kind of line this all up with the middle of the screen, I'm going to see that this text is gigantic. So I need to bring it down to size a little bit. Let's get the scale tool. Now, we don't want to scale it in all three axes because I don't want to make it any thinner. This thickness I want to maintain just for right now. But I do want to scale it in X and Z. So notice I'm over this bar right up here. The Z axis, the blue stick, and the X axis, the red stick, they get lit up in this little bar going across here, not the little triangle down in the middle, but the bar. I'll click on that and I will drag my mouse to make this smaller. And let's see. That's looking good for the moment. Let me zoom on it. Let me get my move tool. Switch to the front viewport. I want to move this about into position. It's going to be about right there. It's on the gold part, which is just right underneath the edge of the screen. It's supposed to fit right in there. So I still have to make it quite a bit smaller. Get the scale tool. And again, I'm only want to scale in, now I'm in the front viewport. Before I was scaling in X and Z. But in this viewport, when I switch to this in the front viewport, now I'm going to be scaling in X and Y. Try not to be too confused, but it's still scaling it the way I want it to. And that's about the right size. And I want to line that L up with the middle of the screen. If that L is if the word is centered on the middle of the screen and then here in the middle between these two. Now let me switch back to perspective and see where I'm at. Ooh, I'm hanging out in space. I need to move back. I'll switch to the top viewport for this. I need to stick this kind of in the TV. So from the top viewport, that's the great viewport to do that. Come back here, hit the Z key. All right. Now I can fine tune it. I'm getting in close. Grab this one and in. There we go. All the way into the TV. Too far. Now, it's pretty darn thick. I don't need to leave it this thick. Now that I've got it scaled down to size, I could shrink that down some. And then again, grabbing the y-axis, sink it in there just so that the word color is sticking out. And let's go back to, let's take a look at this now. There's the word color there. Go ahead and do a render and see how it's looking. Pretty good. All right. Now we need to get another text plus. This text plus, it's going to be the part that's going to handle the RCA Victor. Now, the RCA Victor, it's all cursive and it's all connected, and the RCA and the V is even almost connected. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull that off, keeping the A connected to the V. I probably can do some modeling if I really need to in order to connect them. But Victor's all one word. It's a cursive kind of script. I'm zoomed in about as far as I can be zoomed in here. So now when I go to make this text plus, I'll go back here, click on text plus. I know I want it to say RCA VICTOR, RCA Victor. That's what I want it to say. And I need to find, and this I have not looked up for yet, a cursive script. One that's written in cursive. And I know there are some. And when I find a nice one that I like, I'm going to give it a try. So yeah, see here, we could go with this one. Why not? Now I'm going to move it out a little bit here. Let me switch to the front viewport. Front viewport. Did I just lose what I set up there for text plus? Arg! So RCA Victor, that's what I want right there. And it stole my font that I set up. Communists. But I know it's down in the S's. Let's see, there we go. zoom out a little bit here. I'm going to click and drag, and now see, I can see my RCA Victor there. Good. Now I know it's huge. It's way bigger than my TV, but I needed to make it big enough so I could see it as I create it. And when I'm done with this, now this one's going to be called RCA Victor. So give it its name, and because but it didn't give me that font that I asked for. Try again. Uh-oh. I'm not applying a bevel, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is weird. It's not giving me the ability to change the font. I'm going to pause the video recording